Here we go.
What's going on, everyone? Thank you so much for tuning into another video on Back for Blood. This video, we're going to be checking out our PvP deck or our Swarm deck for solo play. Now, I really wanted to give this one first and foremost because I know there are a lot of people out there that might not have a 4 squad or even, you know, a few buds that want to play every now and again. So you might want to jump into some Swarm solo dolo, and I would be happy to offer up my solo deck. Now, don't get me wrong, obviously if you're given some bad randoms against a good team or against the 4 stack, there's only so much that a good deck can do for you, but hopefully this can soften the blow and help you understand a little bit more about Swarm and what makes a deck really strong over just focusing on, you know, damage cards or so on and so forth. There are 4 main cards I think that are very important to everyone. Now, a couple of those cards can only be if you're in a team, only have to be focused on by 1, maybe 2 players in your team. But if you're solo, you're going to want to make sure that you're running all 4 of these cards because you don't know what anyone else is running in their deck, and this can at least help you and the randoms that you have on your team have a little bit more advantage against the Swarm. Now, this video is going to showcase the cleaner side only, and we're just going to be talking about the deck that I run. I am going to be doing another video, hopefully later on in the week, about my mutation side. I think it's really fun, and spoiler alert, if you don't have 2 tall boys on your team, then you're probably not going for the fastest kill. That's just me. Anyway, let's get into this deck. So I really want to talk about how Inspiring Sacrifice has to be the most important card in everyone's deck. And if honestly, it's not your first card that you're choosing, I just think that you're doing it wrong right now. Inspiring Sacrifice allows you and your teammates to heal for 25 health over 20 seconds. That does stack. You actually do get a nice stack of the time. Every time someone goes down, it keeps going. Now, I'm not sure if this is intended. I'm not sure what's going on. But when you have a 4 stack of Inspiring Sacrifice, especially on round 1, you're going to see some of your teammates last so much longer than they ever expected to last, just from you or your other teammates going down. Now, the next card in my deck that I really want to talk about is Marked for Death. This is really important for at least one person in your deck to have because it allows you to highlight and ping one of the mutations or one of the other players on the other team, and you get that 10% increased damage to that highlighted enemy. So if you and the randoms are focusing the ones that you are marking for death with this card, then it's very helpful. And if maybe one of them are running it as well, there's at least 10% extra damage that's going to be, you know, hit every time one of them is pinged. No, they don't stack. That's why you only need to really focus on one person having them, and then everyone focus firing on the same mutation at the same time, like that double tall boy scenario I was talking about. This is a great way to rip some tall boys down. And the next card is actually another complement to Marked for Death, and that's Shredder. Now, Shredder is very, very important, but this is also another one that I don't think stacks. I believe once Shredder is active on the mutation, the increased damage for 3 seconds that stacks up to, you know, 15%. I think it just maxes out. So as long as you are the one with Shredder and you're ripping into a mutation, that damage should be stacked for your entire team. That mutation or that player should have Shredder damage on them. So I believe that's 100% how it works. That's why you don't need to make sure that everyone has it in their deck. But again, this is a solo deck, and this is why I think that these cards are all very, very important if you're running solo, because you don't know what anyone else is running. They could be running, you know, just random decks. They could just be running starter decks. They might not know how to play the game, or they just don't have a firm grasp on why these cards are so very strong. Inspiring Sacrifice, Marked for Death, Shredder, and the 4th one is going to be, it's actually in the wrong spot on my deck, but that's because I run a solo gym and I have 2 as 1 and 1 as none. But the next card I'm going to talk about that's the most important is Confident Killer. When you and your team kills a mutation, gain 1% damage up to 15% until the end of the level. And this is just really important. This is extra damage that's being added to the mutation players over time. You know, once you or your team gets that kill on a player, that's another 1%, all the way up to 15%. You stack that with the damage you're getting from Shredder. You stack that every time you ping one for Marked for Death. And then you have Inspiring Sacrifice, which is keeping you guys healthy every time someone goes down. these are why these are very important cards to be having by your first round. I don't see any other way in my mind that something else is more important. The only way that this works out is if you know that you're playing with someone that already has Shredder in their hand, that already has Marked for Death, and you might want to go something like Smelling Salts for faster revive, or so on and so forth. Something that would help you a little bit more to making sure that you guys stay up. But again, like I said, this is a solo deck, and this is what really works for me and my gym, because I have a lot of fun with this deck in solo. And honestly, I just sometimes run it with one bud or two, and it still works out pretty well because it allows them to pick whatever cards they want, and I still have the 4 most important cards on the field. Now again, I think Inspiring Sacrifice should be on every player. Every person in every deck should have Inspiring Sacrifice as their first card. That's just me, but you know, if you feel like you have a different opinion, please let me know why in the comments. I'm just saying, every time someone goes down, you get all that health back, and the Ridden get very upset because you just can't die for another 10 to 20 seconds, and those 10 to 20 seconds might be exactly what you need in that first round to get the edge in the match. Now, like I said, Confident Killer was out of place, but that's because I also run 2 is 1 and 1 is none with my gym. And that's because I like having 2 main primary weapons. I know that when I'm playing solo, I'm gonna have to be focusing on, you know, the mutations a little bit more, or have some extra like big gun, you know, to clear a wave of Ridden so I can get myself into a better position. But that's why I like 2 is 1 and 1 is none in my solo deck, because it allows me to have 2 primaries, and with Jim I get that weak spot damage, so it just makes it for a little bit more fun, a little bit more brutality, a little bit more, you know, decimation. And we're gonna go into my second wave of cards, which is what I like to stack all together with Stimulants, Chemical Courage, and Numb. These are all very important cards that I like to have on the field. Now, I do have these in any order, and you can throw them in any order that you see fit. Now, I have Stimulants, Chemical Courage, Fire in the Hole, Face Your Fears, and Numb all in that order, and that's because having temporary health or gaining temporary health from like Face Your Fears, from getting, you know, getting temporary health from getting kills within, you know, close range, I think it's like 2 meters, is very important. And then when you have Chemical Courage, you get that extra damage for 60 seconds. When you pop pills, you get more reload speed, move speed, weapon swap speed for 30 seconds. With Stimulants, you get temporary health and movement speed with Fire in the Hole. So it's all like a cavalcade of just, if you got pills on you, pop them when you get yourself to about half health. And if you want to, like, you know, get a better heal in, you know, just pick up a bandage real quick and like heal under the temporary health. But regardless, have that temporary health consistently on your character, or having Face Your Fears and throwing offensive accessories. You're constantly getting temporary health for a certain amount of time. That's giving you that extra damage. That's giving you that extra defense, because Numb will give you a 15% damage resistance, and that's big. Those are big cards to be having, in my opinion, and that's why these really help in solo, as well as cards like Bomb Squad. Now, all of these cards can be picked up when you find toolkits all over the map and use them to open supply crates that can give you a free card from your deck. If you guys still don't know that, when you find a toolkit or have a Carly on your team and you open a supply crate, the card that comes from that supply crate is from your deck. It's randomly giving you one of your deck cards for free, just an extra added, and that's basically how you get a good portion of your deck on the field without having to get to round 3. Now, if you do somehow make it to round 3, even if you were to get a free card in, you know, 2 rounds, you still have the final row of cards. And for me, I like to have Screwdriver for faster use speed. I like to have Reload Drills. I like to have Smelling Salts, and I like to have Energy Bar. Energy Bar giving you that crazy stamina regen. Smelling Salts obviously rezzing your teammates a lot faster. Now, that's something that I personally, if I wasn't using 2 is 1 and 1 is none, I'd probably throw that up there as a first round card. But, you know, it's a hit or miss, and I always like to make sure, I like to give my randoms the benefit of the doubt to always play at least somewhat collectively. Has it let me down in the past? Absolutely. But I still have a blast, and it allows for some, you know, intense matches while I'm playing you know, in my solo situation. I think that I can absolutely move some cards around where, like, I'm obviously, you know, with smelling salts, you get people up so much faster. I think it's like within like a second and a half or something compared to like 5 seconds. I don't know. It's something ridiculous. It's so much faster, but it's a really strong card. Energy bar gives you more stamina regeneration, but obviously if they have a, you know, if they have some stalkers, or they have some hawkers, or they have a crusher, there's only so much that having energy bar can have you. That's why I have it later down the field. Same thing with reload drills. Reload drills, I have low down the bar as like a, if it comes from a supply crate, I grab it and I get my extra reload speed. But other than that, that's why I have things like stimulants that give me faster reload speed, or I just swap my card out. Now, I've also decided to like play around sometimes with administration. I think it's like admin reload, and admin reload is okay. I know that there's a lot of people that love to run admin reload because they can just keep swapping their weapons and then, you know, swapping back and not having to worry about reloading themselves. And this might be something that I try later on. But right now, like I said, I'm just sharing the deck that I use currently for solo, and I'm having a lot of fun with it. There are obviously some tweaks that can always be made, or there are different things that I can try. But like I said, the purpose of this video is because people ask me, hey Eddie, what deck are you running for solo or for swarm? And when I'm playing solo, this is the one I'm running. Now I will run one and break down the cards and like a team deck, you know, in terms of like who should be running Marked for Death, who should be running Shredder, who should be running Confident Killer, and so on and so forth. Later on down the road. But again, like I said, there's a lot of, especially with crossplay, there are a lot of people out there going through that random matchmaking scenario, and I just wanted to offer a deck that has been working for me. Now, if you don't think that you need double primaries because you like running, you know, the Tech 9 or an SM, you know, the Deagle or what have it, by all means, swap out 2 is 1 and 1 is none. Let me know what you guys are running, maybe in place of some of these cards that you might absolutely be using right now in your decks. Other than that, that's all I wanted to do. I just wanted to share my side of running solo and swarm, the deck that I use, and I hope it helps you guys gain a little leverage out there in the random matchmaking world of Back 4 Blood PvP. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for all the support. Thank you for the likes, the subscriptions, and all the comments. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Later.